Hey guys, I'm Brittany. I post videos about plants and projects around my quarter-acre Zone 7 backyard, and today we are talking about propagating elderberry cuttings. Elderberry shrubs are native where I live in Maryland, Zone 7A, but they have a pretty wide native range here in the US, so if you are looking to propagate a beneficial and gorgeous shrub, we're going to talk about that in this video. First, I'm going to show you some up-close shots of this elderberry cutting I have here, and then I'm going to show you on my elderberry shrub out front where I would take a new cutting. But to get started, there are two main types of growth on an elderberry shrub. There's a softwood growth, which is this green growth up here at the top. This is the newest growth on the shrub. And then there is a hardwood growth. So this does not have any hardwood growth on it. The hardwood growth is going to be near the bottom of the plant, and that's going to look a lot like a tree branch or bark. As the plant matures near the bottom, it is going to turn from more of a softwood to a hardwood. The best spot on the plant to take a cutting is an area that is kind of starting to transition to more of a hardwood. So it's not as flimsy and green and new as the softwood, but it's not as old as the hardwood. So this is a great example of that right here. When I took this cutting, it had leaves coming out of these two leaf nodes as well. So what I did when I took this cutting is I removed the two bottom sets of leaves and then I put it in water. That left me with only, I'd say like 1.5 sets of leaves at the top, because we have these two main sets of leaves and then we have these two tinier baby sets of leaves kind of sprouting. So definitely not too much on the top, so that will allow the plant to focus its energy on rooting from the growth points. So I popped this one in water, and we'll talk about where it roots from after we look at the shrub to show you a couple examples of where I might take a new cutting from. Now let's take a look at our little elderberry shrub here. This is the one that I mentioned did actually start as a propagation earlier this year, so it's pretty small. There aren't a ton of areas on here that I would actually take a propagation from right now, but if I had to choose one, I would probably cut right here below this leaf node, and then I would remove these two sets of leaves, which I accidentally just broke that one off anyway. Remove these two sets of leaves, cut these two leaf areas down in half, and then root this little cutting so that it will be able to root from these growth points right here. All right, now it is a couple weeks later. I have had this same little cutting in water on my kitchen windowsill for a couple weeks, and I'm going to show you guys the progress. So you can see these little white roots starting to pop out, not just from the growth point, but for some areas down the stem as well. I'm gonna go ahead and transition this one to soil because it's getting quite late in the season here. All I'm gonna do is put it in a small pot, probably something about this size so that I can bury it pretty deep, and then fill it up with some fresh, well-draining soil. Okay, I've got it potted up, and I lied about the pot size because I could only find one this size, but that's okay because all of those growth points are covered in the soil. Now I'm just gonna keep this one evenly moist. Based on where we are in the season here in Maryland Zone 7A in October, this will probably be going dormant and losing all of its leaves here soon. I'm gonna keep it outside in the greenhouse, keep it lightly watered over the winter. Hopefully this one will rebound in the spring, but if you were to do this at any other time of year, your propagation will take off like wildfire. So that's about it. That is how to propagate the gorgeous native shrub elderberry from cuttings. Until my next video, happy planting!